Okay, we're on to our last setting for today, and that is the Standing Stones Camp. Now your party has decided to foolishly camp at the very base of this mysterious stone, which has some cryptic carvings on it. Probably shouldn't be camped near. So, whoa, before I cut everything out, it is easy to jump the gun and start cutting, but what you really should do is score everything first. Alright, you see the places where you need to score? There. There. Pretty much everywhere where there's a solid line on this piece, you need to score it, okay? So, from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, all these dark lines need to be scored in order for this piece to work. And it's a complex piece. You can handle it though, because you are smart-ish. You know, you're more clever than many creatures. You know, most of them, given how many bacteria stuff, you know. So, there, now I can go back to cutting. Cutting is actually more fun than scoring. Scoring, I mean, it's alright. I don't want to tell you scoring's not fun, but just that satisfaction of cutting something out, you know, seeing it come away from the paper, from the middle of the sheet. I mean, as a kid with scissors, you always had to cut into the sheet, unless you bent it weird. That always looks bad, you know? Always. Alright, so this is the main important piece, and we got that right. But while we've got it out, let's put this piece on, okay? This piece is a piece that needs to be attached to a string that comes out of the middle of this. So go ahead and make an incision somewhere around the middle. Just make a small hole. And we'll mark that a little bit better. I realized I didn't mark that on the files as I was doing it, so put a little circle there or something. And then you take a piece of string, okay, wrap it around this little gray piece that you have, and there will be two more pieces like that that are gray and smallish. Just wrap it around one time. Tie a knot in it if you want. Okay. But you need to make sure that it stays there, and then you glue it 9 to 9. Hold that, and this little piece is going to go in here. So the tricky part is getting your strings through this tiny hole. And if you happen to have your pen, just kind of poke it through Poke the strings through. Grab it on the other side. And poke the other one through. There we go. And glue that down. Make sure you're not gluing it across the fold. It just needs to be next to it, okay? So you're not gluing across this up and down fold line. You're gluing to the side, okay? And that will hold everything together when you need to tie up your tent pieces for the tents. So now we are slowly folding on all the fold lines so that everything will come together into the way the stone's supposed to stand up. So then you'll glue these pieces on, and you'll make sure that it folds flat. It should fold nice and flat when you glue them on. You may even want to just push it flat on the table. Hold for, I don't know, usually 5 or 6 seconds, depending on air, humidity, that sort of thing. 5, 6, boom. You've got an awesome little obelisk. I don't know if you can see that right there, but it has a carving of Cthulhu. So, really foolish move to pitch your camp nearby and fall asleep, if you ask me. You will definitely be plagued with dreams of the elder gods of the deep. Which may, I mean, if that's your thing, you know, maybe you sleep better with those sorts of dreams of, you know, horrifying geometries. Okay, so we've glued that piece down. Now we're all set to make the tents. Now the tents are a combination of pulled up by a string and gravity flap. They're extremely simple structures, but their construction will allow you to open up the tents and put miniatures inside of the tents really easily, which is a cool idea. Like, a tent basically protects you from 2 things, rain and mosquitoes, and makes you more vulnerable to everything else. Okay? Can't see stuff coming. You are trapped under this blanket. Like, you're basically putting yourself in a net for someone else to come pick you up, right? And yet, armies use them. Armies can't camp in tents, don't they? They used to. Civil War. That was definitely the last time I was in the military. So, things may have changed since then. But anyway, your adventurers will definitely be camping in tents because they really don't know any better, you know? And And you just know the guy on guard has a pretty good chance of failing his perception check, so the fun will definitely ensue at that point. So be careful not to cut all the way through on these parts. You want to make sure that you have something to hold stuff together when you're cutting these little dinky parts out. Okay, almost there. Last piece. Don't get sloppy near the end. Keep it together, cut along the lines. Even though by now your finger's starting to hurt, developing calluses you didn't realize were possible. You're wishing you'd bought one of those X-Acto knives with a super comfortable looking grip. Costs like $10 more. Anyway, now you just need to attach one of these pieces. These two pieces here with holes in them, they're basically interchangeable. You can put either one and match it up with either of the other ones. But you really just need to worry about attaching it to the right side, okay? So look at the way the tent's going to go, alright? This piece is going to go right here. This piece is going to hang right here. Okay? So I need to make sure that that's facing the right way. And it is. I'm in luck. And then I just glue these pieces on down. Try not to get glue on the other piece. If you do, just kind of wipe it off as much as you can. You don't want it to dry in such a way that this piece can't flap up and down, right? Like that piece has to flap. This is a gravity flap. It needs to be able to respond to gravity. If it can't, you're going to end up feeling sad. Sad and alone. And then this piece, similarly, take a look at it before you glue anything. Make sure that it's in the right spot. Make sure that what it's doing makes sense. If it does, you're free to glue it on down. Okay. Alright, match them up with the ground texture. Shouldn't be too difficult. Thanks. So I kind of messed that one up, glued it together inside out. If you do that, you know, just glue it on down, really. Won't make that big of a difference. There we go. Alright. So now you need the two additional gray pieces. Fold it in half, and what you want to do is measure the pieces along your string so that you know exactly where the string needs to hit the tent. So stand the tent up so that it looks pretty good, you know, so that there's sort of a darker area. Make sure this part kind of rests on that darker area. That's about how you want your tent, that's where you want your tent to end up. So then, in order for that to happen, this string is going to need to pull right there. So you match that up with where it's going to meet the tent. You wrap it around and glue it. Let it dry before you try to attach it to anything. Well, I mean, make sure, pull it out there. Make sure it's going into the right spot. Basically, this piece is meant to be glued right in there, right under there. Okay? Don't glue it too close to the top, or it will definitely cause you issues with the tent closing. But just glue it in there, right about where, right about where the mark is, or will be. I actually haven't put that on here yet. Kind of unprepared on this particular one, but I'll go back and put that mark in the files while the video is uploading so that it's actually there and you can glue it right. Alright, so then we glue this piece in. Right there. We're basically gluing it right on the inside of this piece. You can see where it is right there. Okay? Glue it there, and that string will pull up your tent when this pops up and make it so that your tent is standing as it pops up, which is a really fun thing to see. I promise you'll enjoy it. Tons. Alright, and the other piece, again, you don't want to glue it right up by the fold, just like 1/8 of an inch down is where you want it. Can you see that? Can you see where I'm gluing it? Look at that. I'm gluing it right there. Not all the way up in the fold, but down 1/8 of an inch. Okay? Alright. And there is the camp, the pitched camp at the Standing Stones. And it turned out pretty good. Hope you liked it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and tune in later for the other ones. Should be coming in the next couple months. So, thanks a lot.